Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestling Gab. That's Dalitha. I am Travis, and it is time for our predictions for
AEW's Revolution pay-per-view happening this Sunday, March 6th, 2022. At 8 p.m. Eastern time,
yes,
I think is
there is a buy-in
starting.
show that starts at 7.
There is, and there are quite a few matches on the buy-in show, everybody. So you might want to, watch it because there's going to be actually 3 matches. So they could be pretty long matches without a lot of talking on their pre-show.
They're going to work.
Around. They are definitely getting some work done on this pay-per-view. They have 12 matches overall. 12! That's insane. I mean, that's crazy.
It's 2 more than 10.
Yes, that's 9 matches on the regular card, 3 in the buy-in. That's insane as what it is. Well, we're going to get started right into these buy-in matches. We're going to talk about the first one is the Penta Obscuro Pac and Eric Redbeard versus House of Black.
House of Black. Death
so
Triangle.
Crazy thing of it was, right, is we have seen Eric Redbeard on AEW Dynamite before. He did come out. It happened a little bit. I think it was
right after Brody
Lee passed away.
It was.
He kind of came over to AEW, did a couple things, and we hadn't seen him since. Everybody kind of was hoping he'd stick around and everything. But he did show up on Rampage Friday night, and he was the muscle that the manager of Penta and Pac brought in.
Right.
Due to Ray, of course, being out due to that elbow injury that he's got going on.
The Death Triangle has some muscle.
They have some muscle, big guy.
A beast of their own, as they said it on Friday.
A beast of their own, yeah, because they have Brody King as the beast over in the House of Black. And then, of course, it's made up of Malachi and Buddy Matthews, who's the other 2 on that part of the team.
Right.
So, Travis, for that, who do you have winning this particular one?
House of Black.
All right. So, if anybody did watch Rampage on Friday, the Obscuro, the Death Triangle, they won it. Eric Redbeard came in, he cleaned out House, and
yeah, it wasn't really a match, but yeah,
he just kind of beat him up and stuff like that.
Right? Took obviously, I'm not gonna pick the House of Black. I just said that for fun.
Oh yeah.
Because the other 3, I mean, obviously Redbeard could lose, but why would they do that if they're just bringing him in for one thing, or if he's going to sign with AEW? Right. You don't just have him lose right out of the gate. And meaning that the other 2, and Pac never gets pinned, and then that leaves Penta, and Penta doesn't lose very often either.
Right.
And the House of Black, the Brody King or
Buddy
Matthews, either one of those 2 could get pinned. And Malachi, we've seen Malachi get pinned, even by Cody and others.
Yes, we have seen him take the fall, I guess you could say, for that. I'm going to, I guess, go with the Death Triangle then. I'm going to say that Penta, Obscuro, and all those are going to win.
Yeah, so we both agree on that one.
Oh, so you are not going with House of Black. You were lying. Okay, I wrote it down. Now I have to scratch it out.
Ugh.
Write it down again. Hopefully I have enough room.
Just ink.
Too many matches to make mistakes.
Right.
Anyways, I don't know if there's really much else to talk about that. I mean, it is just a buy-in. It probably won't be a very long match.
Make sure you guys leave your comments below on who do you think's going to win. We are going to be doing something new with this, so we should be chatting with you guys while this is broadcasting.
Right.
And so make sure that in the chat you're putting who you think's going to win, in the comments, the whole thing.
Yeah. So with that match actually was an added match after the fact. So they didn't add that match to the Revolution card until last night. Friday night. So for after Rampage. Then they said, oh, this is happening, so we're going to add it to our pay-per-view. Before that, it was just 11 matches and only had 2 for the buy-in. I'm hoping that doesn't make the buy-in a longer
No, it'll
time.
Still be their hour. They're just going to stuff it.
Yeah.
It's going to be the fastest hour in sports
It'll be like a Rampage, basically. They're going to stuff like...
the fastest hour in sports.
3 matches that should last quite a while in there. All that stuff.
20 minutes each. No talking.
So again, keep track of your own predictions and put in the comments who you think is going to win that particular one. Do you want me to move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
There's plenty of time.
All right. So the next we're going to talk about is going to be the Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander this is, of course, again, part of the buy-in part of the show. They've had kind of some contention happening, right? They used to kind of be friends. Layla Hirsch got whatever anger issues she has and started taking it out on Chris Statlander. And I think Red Velvet was in there, too, a little bit. They were kind of like all kind of friends. And then Layla Hirsch decided that she, I guess, didn't like being a little person and had a meltdown.
Stinking friends.
or didn't need friends. Anyway, so she's been pretty pissed at them, and so she's had some off and on beef with all of them, right? Chris and Red Velvet for a while now. I don't know if this is going to be a accumulation and be done after this, or if they're going to continue this little storyline crap they have going on. We don't see it on the actual Dynamite part, so I'm guessing they do more of it on Rampage and on Dark rather than what we get to see when we do Dynamite. So for us, it's kind of like a blurb on the radar. It's not even a big thing, which I think is kind of sad because I like Chris Statlander.
Right.
And I wish she would have never gotten injured because I think that injury kind of set her back quite a bit instead of being able to push forward. And I think that she would be pretty good to like push her into being a champion of some kind, whether it's the TBS champion or women's champion or the actual AEW women's champion. But anyways, so Travis, who do you think is going to win this though?
I'm going to go with Chris Statlander on this one. Pretty straightforward. She's an alien. Always go with the aliens.
So I'm going to go with Chris Statlander also. But the reason why I'm going to go with Chris Statlander is because the last time I saw these two actually have a match, Layla Hirsch won. And she won kind of dirty-ish a little bit, kind of like cheated a little and stuff. And I don't know what their matches have been like since or anything like that. But I'm going to go with that she's probably going to be the one. So out there in chat world, who do you guys have winning this particular match? It's, again, a buy-in match. It doesn't really have a lot of storyline. Kind of talked about some of that storyline of what was happening with them.
With Red Velvet.
With Red Velvet and that. Hopefully this will kind of be the end of it and Chris can maybe move on from it.
With their pay-per-views being every 4 months or whatever. I mean, there's 4 of them a year, so every 3 months. It does give conclusions to feuds.
Some of them.
Where it's not like WWE where they're going to just keep stack them on top of each other. So it's now they don't even call them pay-per-views anymore. They're calling them special events, the WWE.
Oh, wow. Well.
Because they're just on their network or Peacock or whatever. But anyways.
Right.
It's just another show is what they're saying.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so again, down in your comments, who are your predictions for that match? Again, that's Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander. Put in your comments who thinks going to win. Keep track of your prediction sheet and, see who got the best points, right? See if you can beat Travis and his predictions.
Ooh.
Ha, ha, ha.
That's an uphill climb for almost anybody.
Sometimes, right?
Even myself.
Even yourself. I don't do very good either, so I can't say anything. All right, another buy-in match we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about Hook versus QT Marshall. I know there's a lot of people out there who are big Hook fans. I guess he does good on Dark and Rampage and whatever and stuff like that. And QT Marshall, we haven't really seen him much since we saw him more so when he was in Cody Rhodes' little group when they first started. We haven't really seen him on the main Dynamite show as much as he used to. I think he's more obscured over to Rampage and also.
I have no idea
what
he's doing.
Rather than being part of it. Since he, branched off and did his own little stable of people or whatever that he decided to do. So, Travis, who do you got maybe winning this?
I mean, obviously going to go with the second generation superstar, Hook. QT Marshall has no future in wrestling.
Right.
His best days are behind him. I think Hook's best days are still to come. So we'll go with that.
Right. So, I personally don't like Hook. I don't like his look. I really hate his hair. It bothers me. It bothers me almost like Oh, who was it? Seth Rollins has kind of the same problem. So does AJ Styles every once in a while. Their hair gets in their faces. And they're in the ring going like this during their match. Trying to get it out of their face so that they can see what the fuck they're doing. And I get it that it's part of their look and everything. But it just looks kind of dumb. When they're in there trying to, like, the women sometimes have that problem too. They'll do hairstyles when they're wrestling. I've seen Charlotte Flair, it happen with her. Her hair's just right in her way. I guess that's one thing I like that Becky Lynch does, is that she does keep her hair out of her face. Another thing, Rhea, her hair's not long enough to really get in her face, but she kind of keeps it away from her face. Bianca Belair, she uses it as a weapon, which I don't like. But, you know, just as comparison with others. I've seen Thunder Rosa have her hair in the way, but Serena Deeb does not. And so those are kind of things I look at and I'm like, that's kind of annoying. That you're constantly having to, like, get your hair out of your face so you can see what you're doing. It pauses what's happening out in the ring. But I'm not a huge fan of it. But I'm pretty sure he'll win. They've been pushing him and pushing him and pushing him in our faces. He's so tiny. It's so weird to me. I bet you he probably is maybe 4 inches taller than Layla Hirsch at this point. I don't think
I don't know his height or weight. I do know he manhandles some of the bigger guys. And we'll see him do that to QT Marshall as well.
QT Marshall isn't that much.
Yeah, but he's 200 plus.
He is a big, heavier guy.
For AEW standards, he's a giant.
Right. Well, yeah, if you compare him to their little tiny men boys that they have. Anyways, but I'm gonna go with Hook. So out there in the world of chat, you guys make sure you put down your predictions. Put them in the chat. If you do miss this prediction show and you're not able to be in the live chat for it, please make sure to put them in the comments on the actual video, what your predictions are for each one of them. We'll make sure and, list all the matches that are going to happen so that you kind of know what's going on. All right.
Fact. All right, to the main card.
Yes, this will be the main card. Those are all the buy-ins. Again, there's 3 of them, which is a lot, but that's 3 of those.
3 matches on the pre-card. That's free. Everybody at home, you can watch that for free.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
It should be
on their internet page.
YouTube channel. From what I know of on past buy-ins, They usually do it on there. If you do happen to have a cable or satellite provider, the first hour should be free on the actual pay-per-view channel.
Dish, it's $4.60.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know what DirecTV is.
Up in your top wherever your pay-per-view channels are, that first hour should be free. So you should be able to just watch it without having to. I didn't look to see if they were promoting it on TNT or TBS, though.
I was wondering if they were, because I was looking when I was flipping through it, and I swear I saw something about it. But
yeah.
I doubt it's going to be on TV. But
yeah, so that part I'm not real sure if it's actually going to be on that actual station. Sometimes they have done it in the past, but I don't know if they'll do it for this pay-per-view. But we'll look into that and maybe be able to get back to you later on in this video. All right, so we're going to go with Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Ricky Starks versus Will Hobbs versus Wardlow versus Christian. So Christian was the one who won against Ethan Page to get the right to be in this particular grouping. This group is a match. Whoever wins this match gets a chance at the AEW Championship. Right?
That's AEW, the television championship.
Oh, was it the television one?
Yes.
Okay. So this is for the TNT Television Championship title belt. So whoever wins this gets a chance to go up against whoever whoever is going to be the guy.
Sammy Guevara now.
So Sammy Guevara is still the champion right now, but
he won his triple threat on Friday.
Okay. So we don't know when this match will take place later, but this is between all these guys. Okay. So Travis, let me read these guys again.
It's Wardlow.
Okay.
I don't need a list, but you're more than welcome to read them for
I'll
everybody.
read them again for everybody else. So the people that are going to be in this match are Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Ricky Starks.
Absolute Ricky Starks.
Versus Will Hobbs versus Wardlow versus Christian. So,
let's remember Christian is a veteran in ladder matches. Like, I mean, he basically invented this sport.
Yes. Oh, that's the other. This is a stipulation match. This is a ladder match, guys. Yes. I forgot to mention that part. That this is a ladder match. So just keep that in mind also. The ladder match, basically, they have to climb up and get a thing and win that chance for their ticket. Their golden ticket.
I feel like they're going to do their patented how Keith Lee's going to lose. They're going to bury him like they do it with all the big guys. They always bury him under a whole bunch of tables and chairs and ladders.
They might have to do that with Will Hobbs too, but it might kind of be a Will Hobbs Keith Lee fight together
up in the aisle
somewhere else or something, and they're going to get distracted with each other because Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs did come at Keith Lee in his face. And Will Hobbs was like, "I'm gonna get you, sucker."
Also did the same thing on Rampage when at the end of Rampage.
So they did the same thing.
And Orange Cassidy showed up to kind of help Keith Lee in a way, because Keith Lee was in the ring. They were coming down to the ring, Hobbs and Absolute.
Okay.
And then Orange Cassidy came up behind them, so it was like a sandwich.
So Ricky Starks did have somebody he could scream and be like, he's gonna hurt me.
Right. So there was the 4 of those guys out there, obviously sent up for this match. So.
Right. Well, considering how much that they are pushing Wardlow with a lot of stuff, I mean, I could see them doing like a Ricky Starks, Will Hobbs versus Orange Cassidy and Keith Lee kind of thing and kind of push him over to that for a while. Keith Lee just barely came over, and I don't like if they did automatically just give him into a championship title. It kind of sucks where Wardlow has been working his way towards that. Not that Christian hasn't really, but I think it would be weird to just kind of...
Christian's best days are behind him.
All of a sudden throw him into a title.
No different than QT Marshall.
And all that kind of stuff. So with what they've been doing with Wardlow, I'm going to cross my fingers, and unfortunately I'm going to go with Travis too, and say that it's going to be Wardlow that gets the chance to go
They've been hinting at it for a while. You guys make sure you leave your picks down in the chat while I'm chatting here. Obviously, they've been hinting at it. Even MJF said, hey, look, if you do win it and you go be champion, I'm going to let you keep the belt. Because before he had told him that he had to give it to him.
Oh, yes.
After you win it, I'll have you give me the belt.
Right.
And then Wardlow's like, because I'm too busy helping you win. And then he's like, smack!
Yes. And then he
smacked the taste out of his mouth.
He did smack some taste
out
of his mouth.
You work for me. You don't work for AEW. So Wardlow's also going to have to get an AEW contract for the storyline to continue.
Right. For him to kind of go off on his own and do something about Shawn Spears and the chairman. He did kind of stand up to him in his last match and said, hey, dude.
He's going to whoop that dude's ass.
He's going to beat the crap out of Shawn Spears at
Shawn
some
Spears
point.
is going to get beat
and
like a stepchild.
And it's so weird with this guy because they kind of were like making him into something. And then he became his same old nothing like he was in WWE. He literally became the same character. Yeah. Like, you're a loser, you're nothing, you'll never be anything. And it's like, okay, maybe he's happy in those type of situations, and AEW is more than happy to just keep him in that situation.
Who knows?
I don't know. It's really weird.
His wife's a superstar.
Right? I mean, she's doing really good. Being back together with her bestie and stuff. They're cleaning house where they're at, which is good for them. Good for them. So all right.
Moving on.
Leave your predictions down in the comments, guys. Keep track of your predictions, and we're gonna move on to the next match. The next one we're gonna talk about is Andrade El Ídolo, Isiah Kassidy, and Matt Hardy versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. So this match was something that they kind of started putting a little bit together the last few weeks. I mean, the Andrade kind of being with Matt Hardy happened a month and a half ago.
I feel like this is a forced match to make sure that everybody gets their time.
Right, kind of like, oh, here's your participation trophy.
It means
to
nothing
be on the pay-per-view.
Other than you just get to be on the show.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't project anybody except for, oh, these guys are the good guys, Sting, Darby, and Sammy supposedly. Right. And look, Sammy Guevara has a belt. And and everybody supposedly likes seeing Darby Allin, which I don't understand why anybody likes to see such a little man. And then, of course, Sting, who's an old man, but, so is Matt Hardy. And maybe those two can, talk at each other.
Right. I have a feeling this is going to end whatever this is, if there is anything, because Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin are going to have a feud.
They have to, right?
They had a match on Friday, and they were both staring at each other afterwards, because Andrade's the one that took the fall.
Oh,
in the triple threat.
Okay.
As Sammy Guevara won, but Darby had him beat. Then Sammy came in and kind of stole it.
Yes.
So, anyways. So I feel like they're still a little there, but whoever wins the match from earlier, the ladder match, which I'm glad that you put that in front, because it makes more sense for this conversation.
Yeah.
It'll probably be later in the night.
Yeah, which is fine.
Anyways.
But I just kind of put it in backwards in the order that you had given it to me.
But anyways, yeah. So I don't know how deep they're going to go with the Darby Sammy Guevara feud before Wardlow cashes in, or whatever it is, if it's a cash in, or if he just gets to pick whenever he wants it, or or what, because it's not like a briefcase, obviously, but.
Right, it's not like a Money in the Bank kind of thing that WWE does. It's
make sure you guys are leaving your picks in the comments.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more along the lines of that whenever he decides he gets his match or something against that person, and it could be like right after he goes against somebody else. So it could just be right there.
Right, that would be cool. I don't know if they'll do that, but yeah.
I mean, it
like
could
a cash
be, right?
in, like
Sammy's
fuck you,
all tired. He's had a feud with Darby. They
Wardlow
went at it really fast.
Ran through
hard.
CM Punk like he was nothing. He's gonna be anybody that's champion.
As he should. I mean, Wardlow is a good character to push and
now,
stuff.
Can
like
he
that.
powerbomb Keith Lee like that? Hopefully, we get to see it on Sunday.
Ooh, I don't know. That might be a little. Dangerous for both of them right there. Yeah. I mean, or Will Hobbes. I mean, Will Hobbes is a pretty big stack.
He's a little bit more put together though.
Yeah,
like I feel like he's a little more coordinated.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of shit just kind of going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Where
true.
Keith Lee, there's got to be
There's some hefty.
Will Hobbes around his midsection, he can grab him.
True.
Keith Lee around his midsection, he's not going to be able. He's going to be holding his hips.
Right.
And that's dangerous.
Yeah, for both.
Yes.
So on this one, who do you got going on this one then?
Sting, Darby, and Sammy. I can't see the other. I don't even know who the other
guys,
team was.
Andrade,
He's
Isiah
good.
Kassidy, and Matt Hardy. That's who's in the other team.
Yeah. No, that's trash. The other two are trash. Now, Jeff Hardy is going to be coming back sometime soon. At least that's the rumors that he's signing with AEW. He'll probably show up on Wednesday. Matt Hardy's going to have a new... how are they going to... He just signed a contract with El Ídolo. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. How are they going to put... They're not putting Jeff in that group.
No.
That makes zero sense. So they got to take Matt out of that group.
Yeah. Well, he kind of started being like he was going to do that, right? Because he walked out on the private party.
Yeah, Isiah Kassidy.
When they were in that one particular match and they were losing,
Mark
and he
Quinn.
just was like, "I'm not helping you guys." So he just kind of walked off.
Right.
He did not.
And that could leave Andrade in charge of them all, and then Matt has an escape. Either way, it's happening on Sunday, so they can separate them.
Yeah, and as much as I don't really care about this match, and the one side I'm completely like, this is garbage, I am sure that it's going to be the Sting, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara group that are going to win it.
Very predictable show so far, and hopefully it's not this predictable, because every time that I do these predictions and it's that predictable, all I hear is how shitty the show was.
Yep.
Day one, I got all of them right. Royal Rumble, even picked the winners of the Royal Rumble, every one of those right.
Yep.
And I'm not boasting of myself. I'm saying that all those shows I've heard people say that they're shitty.
Yeah.
So when I miss 4 or 5 of them, which happens quite a bit, that's the best show I've ever seen, and I was like, So basically, I have to miss them for them to be good.
Yeah, for them to be good. They have to have some kind of a weird upset.
I'm like Rotten Tomatoes. If it's under 25 on a Rotten Tomato score, it's usually a good movie. If it's over 70, it's either a classic or shit.
Right.
So.
Or something that you consider shit because you're just not interested in it. It's not. Right. It's not a movie that
it's
you're like,
PG
oh my god,
woke.
I can't wait to watch that. And And who are these people that are saying it's good?
I want to know.
Real people?
Like,
I mean, I want to know, because then you talk about that show with somebody else and they're like, yeah, that was a shitty show. And you're just like, so how would it get such great reviews from these people out there? People that exist.
The newer movies don't tell stories. They usually just have a lot of explosions. So the more explosions and fight scenes, the better the movie. But you don't have to actually have a story.
That's how it works. Well, now we know. All right. So anyways, yeah, on that last match.
Comments.
Put your picks in the chat and let us know. And we're going to move on to the next one. This isn't by no means how the match card is going to go by any means, guys. Oh, and the match card is subject to change. So just so you know, some of these matches might not even happen. Who knows? Anyways, the next one we're going to talk about is Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley.
Now, this one's been building because Danielson wants to be partners with Jon Mox, but Mox will not team up with anybody unless he's shared blood with them, spilt blood with them.
Yeah.
And so that's why they are feuding, but they are going to become a faction after this, so I do believe that there is going to be a finish to this.
So, are they going to be a faction, or are they just going to be like a little weird tag team?
They're going to bring in other people.
So you think they're going to make a group? Yes,
that's the whole story that they've been telling. They want to bring in Daniel Garcia. Remember, Daniel wrestled him and beat him, but said, "Hey, if when this group forms, those are the type of players we can get away from 2.0 and make great." So they want to bring in talent, make them great, and then maybe kick him out. I don't know if it's going to be like a wrestling factory or what he has planned.
He's like we're only going to do it, and then we're just getting rid of you because
right. Well, once you're an A-lister or whatever.
We don't want you anymore. Ugh, you're pretty much worthless.
But that being said, who do you think's going to win? I feel like there's going to be a clear, decisive victor in this.
Yeah, I mean, and who would it have to be in order for... Because you have, on one side you have Danielson, who's like, I totally want to be with you. And then the other side's like, ew.
Oh, he does. He just has to bleed with him.
Well, but I don't think he really wants to be with him. Like, if you have to put that kind of stipulation on it, then it's kind of more like, nah.
Right.
Nah. I guess maybe. If we do this, then I'll think about it.
All right. Who do you got winning?
I'm going to say they'll have Jon Moxley win.
Yes. Jon Moxley is winning that. Hands down. I don't see Daniel even having a shot at winning this, in my opinion. Daniel will lose, but he'll put on a hell of a fight. Moxley's going to shake his hand, and they're going to
go off into the sunset
together. Maybe even holding hands.
Cart.
Maybe even holding hands.
I think they will, and they'll skip.
They could, and to Jon Moxley's music.
Yep.
We all hate this fucking song. No, I was kidding. It's actually a good song. It's Wild Thing.
At some point, you gotta start hating them when you listen to them enough. Just kidding. Well, considering what I look at that song, and then
Major League.
I mean, I don't really consider it like he's a wild thing anymore. I mean, he's been tamed,
right?
Pastured.
He got his balls cut off.
Yeah,
he's been neutered. He's now a steer.
He's been castrated. Anyways, tell us who you think is going to win that in the comments.
Mild Thing.
Mild Thing, right. Mild Thing, who gets his feelings hurt really easily.
But I want to know for sure.
Yeah, so guys, tell us who you think's going to win that in the comments, in the chat comments. And let us know who you think's going to be the glorious winner of that particular grouping.
And which one is going to be the match of the night. But obviously we'll wait till the end before we figure that one out.
Right.
But it's definitely a candidate.
It could possibly.
On any other card, I think it would be, but I do think there is going to be a match or two that are better.
Will it be better? All right, so we'll just go on to the next one then. Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. Wow.
The build up here. So the stipulation to this is if Eddie Kingston can beat Chris Jericho, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, whatever you want to call him. Jericho will shake his hand.
Ooh.
And give him props.
Okay.
And if not, then Jericho's just going to treat him like the entitled shit that he is,
Right. From New Jersey.
From Jersey.
Because he's from New Jersey, so he's shit. Matthew out there will agree with me on that. I don't know if he'll be able to be in this prediction show.
Jersey,
he'd have to work a lot. So.
Jersey is pretty in places. But maybe not New Jersey City. But the state is very pretty.
It's just a dump.
Lots of nothingness.
All right, so who do you think is going to actually win it then? Like, do you think that...
Eddie Kingston.
You think he's going to win?
Yeah, I want Jericho too because I'm not an Eddie Kingston fan. I don't like pretty much anything about him.
Right.
Daniel Bryan had wrote on his Twitter. It was actually pretty funny. What I like about Eddie Kingston is his passion and his drive or something along those lines. This is Twitter. It's Daniel Bryan stuff, so you can go look it up, you guys, itself, to make sure I get it right. But basically, I like his passion and drive. What I don't like about Eddie Kingston is that he's Eddie Kingston. and then Eddie Kingston put "fuck you" to Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever his fucking name is.
Daniel Bryan is what I call him.
Mr. Birdie's dad.
All right, so you're going to go with Eddie is going to win
I'm going to go with Eddie, even though I want Jericho to win it bad. I'd love for Jericho to just kick his ass. But
right.
I don't see how the build-up would work. There's no stipulation for Jericho other than shaking his hand. Right. So if Jericho wins, it's just a match.
Right. He has to give him a little bit of respect, and that's all. Walk off with his life. And the thing of it is there's nothing really that stops him from losing it. I mean, because... Santana and Ortiz kind of came back into the little bit of the fold, right? On Wednesday at the end of their match, they kind of came back, because Chris Jericho, they tried to go off and do it on their own, and it's not like he wasn't keeping them back, right? It was that they just can't seem to do it on their own.
Right.
Which is pretty pathetic.
And they seen it themselves, that they couldn't do it on their own. And so they came back to Jericho and said, hey, let's put the band back together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So within a week and a half, we had a breakup and a reconnection.
Right. Because they kind of went to Eddie Kingston, and Eddie, put a worm in their ear, and how horrible Chris Jericho is to them, and never lets them get to do anything by themselves. Like, he's the terrible mom who never lets them go
you
outside.
Always have to fight my fights. They always have to fight Jericho's fights.
Right.
And in this one, no. So anyways, make sure you're leaving your messages and comments and chatting along with us in the chat section. We are going to be in here. You will see us chatting. Yes.
So in order for this to kind of end, because I think this is tended just at this point, it needs to stop, go away. Eddie Kingston needs to move on, feel better about himself and all that good stuff. And Chris Jericho needs to move on to something else, whether it's going back to music or whatever it is that he's doing.
Whatever he wants to do.
Whatever
if he wants to be an announcer, let it happen. Whatever Jericho wants to do, he deserves it.
Yes.
Except for wrestle Eddie Kingston over and over.
Right.
We don't want to see that.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston winning it. So you guys let us know in the comments, in the chat part, who you got winning this, and maybe give reasons why, or if you would rather see the feud going on and on and on, or if you're ready for just new stuff.
Or if you're just excited to hear Chris Jericho's song. His intro song.
Yes, that's it. Just make sure you're making comments and everything down there below to let us know. All that good stuff.
Woo!
All that fun junk. Right? Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is CM Punk versus MJF.
Ooh. Ooh. Mufasa. Ooh.
Yeah.
Match of the year? Match of the decade?
It could be. I mean, so all we've seen is CM Punk be like, oh, you looked up to me. Here's a picture of you when you were a kid. MJF, playing him, yeah, I looked up to you, and then beat the shit out of him.
You were a jerk, and then he kicked him in the nards. Wolfman's got nards. But anyways.
And this is a dog collar match, guys.
Yes, there is a hell of stipulations. No rules.
So this one, things can happen. Bad things can happen.
Necks dislocated. Death.
We'll hope that they'll be very careful, because CM Punk is old.
CM Punk got
drugs,
split open
so...
bad on Wednesday.
He did.
He had a huge bump. Well, they showed it after on Rampage. They showed like the aftermath of it. So he's got a huge hole bump thing, and that's going to get re-split open. We already know that. And he said that MJF wanted him to be the monster that he was, the guy that he was, the punk that he was.
Oh.
And that's who MJF wanted to fight.
Right.
Well, he's got him. Punk's back. He's an asshole. He's back. He's going to be a monster to defeat other monsters. It's kind of like a Marvel thing or something.
Ew, bully on bully. That's always a plus.
Anyway, right? Cure violence with violence. By the way, you can never attack an emotion with the same emotion. So if somebody's angry, you can't get more angry than them to fix it. But Punk thinks he can, and so we're going to watch it. We're going to get our popcorn and sit back and just enjoy that one.
See how much blood can really happen and AIDS.
This is a tough one for me because MJF's already beat him twice.
Right?
In one match.
Cheat.
There's no such thing in this match.
Right. Well, this match, it doesn't matter. But that match was supposed to be a clean match.
So
that means that CM Punk can do a lot of cheating himself if he's bringing the asshole, whatever persona that he thinks he still has out of his closet.
So I don't know how the chain matches work per se, but I know the strap matches, you have to drag your opponent to all four corners and touch each corner. I don't know if the dog collar match is that way.
The only one we saw was the one with Cody.
Cody and Brody.
Mm-hmm. That was a dog collar match, and I don't remember what they did.
Yeah, I think he just pinned him.
I think so too.
So, obviously he can hog tie him. He could wrap that chain around his legs and arms and pin him or something. But This is a hard one for me. This is a 50-50 or 49-51 coin flip.
Right. I mean, so I guess my thing of it is they try to promote the 4 pillars of AEW, and CM Punk isn't one of those. MJF is, though.
Right, but they can't win forever.
They can't. They can't.
You can't bring in CM Punk and have him lose all the time either, even though he's only lost once, and it was to
Wardlow.
Never mind.
And then he did.
Well, he didn't really.
MJF.
Remember, he pinned Wardlow, but he got his ass kicked by Wardlow.
Right. So I mean, he's only really lost to MJF.
Right.
In that long match that they had that they redid because of his cheating, and then he cheated again.
Right.
But in that.
If at first you don't succeed, cheat, and if that doesn't work, cheat more. But
right.
Anyways, yeah. Who do you got on this one? I'll let you go first.
Well, considering how much I just love CM Punk, Barbo. I don't really want him to win. I wouldn't be surprised if they had him win, but I'm just gonna go with MJF. I'm
also gonna go with MJF just because there again, his future is in front of him.
Yeah.
And Punk's is no better than QT Marshall's.
Yeah.
It's behind him. Christian behind him.
Yeah, they really need to, even though it's fine that he's and hoping that this is pushing the people over more, or his
putting him over,
MJF's character to hate him more, or whatever they're going to do. I don't think it's bad publicity for MJF in any way, really.
MJF made himself millions of dollars off just this feud. In the future. Mm-hmm. Obviously not right now. But.
I mean, and the only thing about MJF I wish he'd do more is be more of a nasty asshole when he talks.
Yeah, he needs to be less politically correct.
He needs to really go after where it hurts, and in the solar plex of CM Punk, and take him down a couple notches. I mean, I know that there's a lot of you guys out there who are huge CM Punk fans and stuff like that, but I look at it the same way as Vindicator does with Iron Anderson, Jake Roberts, Tully Blanchard, Swindler. They're swindling money from these younger guys that should be being put over, whether you like them or not, and he's taking away money from talent that should be on TV or should be being pushed, or you should be seeing these people on their main show. And you're not, because you have this guy who's a has-been, who was out of it for 7 years or more, and decided that, gosh darn it, I really want to give my meth addict ass another chance at this shit. And then decided that, he should be something. I don't know. that and his talking about being a victim, it really bothers me that how he is. And I get it. A lot
Usually,
of you guys really
if
loved
you
him
are
and
into drugs, you are going to have the victim mentality.
Right.
I mean, that's what that causes addiction, right? Because it's outside of your control.
Right. Yeah. But, and I know you guys are huge fans. I know that there's a lot of people in our chat that love CM Punk. They love seeing him back and everything like that. I just think that this stuff with MJF needs to quit and CM Punk needs to go do something else in the company that has nothing to do with championships or championship people or anything like that, and help put over different talent or something like that or whatnot. Right. Anyways, you guys let us know in the comments in the chat who you think should be winning. I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be picking CM Punk.
Well, Punk's probably going to win this. That's why I said it's a 51-49.
Yeah.
I'm just going with MJF because I feel like his future's brighter.
Right.
That he's got to wear shades.
And that they should be pushing somebody whose future is what they want to make their show about.
Now, they did sign Punk for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's coming to an end. I can't remember exactly when he showed back up, but I don't think it's been quite a year. But maybe it's been over a year. I don't know.
I thought it was before Christmas, so maybe only about 6 months.
Yeah, but it seems like he's been here forever now. But anyways, I'm glad that he's back. He does help out the roster. Obviously, he's doing more than just beating the young talent into submission.
Right.
There is a lot of positives about him coming back. A lot of people came back to wrestling. My cousin Tony is like, hey, you're right about AEW. He's like, CM Punk was on there the other day. And I'm like, yeah, it's a really good show. So
yeah,
it is bringing a little bit older faces back to the game.
True. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, you guys leave your comments below. Paige Van Zandt is also going to be signing a contract. So the American Academy or whatever they are.
Right.
What's his name? Dan Lambert made a deal. So, what's his guy name? Not Ethan Page, the other one. Scorpio Sky is going to wrestle for the television title, I think this Wednesday, against Sammy Guevara if Sammy is the champion, and just so he could get Paige Van Zandt signed. So Paige Van Zandt is going to sign on this show.
Oh, nice.
So we are going to see Paige Van Zandt sign a AEW contract.
Cool.
So also in there.
I mean, there's Sammy
Comments,
Guevara's.
make sure you leave them below.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara's TV championship is not on the line.
Oh yeah, so Sammy Guevara is going to be television champion.
So he will be the champion.
Now it makes more sense, and yeah. So Paige Van Zandt will be under contract. Will a woman show up? Who's going to be her first feud? Because we thought it was going to be Brandy.
Oh, I don't know. It could be Red Velvet. It could be Ann and Jay. It could be, I'm trying to think of anybody else that they could possibly, Chris Statlander would be good.
Right. She's very popular in the world of professional. Like, she's like the Ronda Rousey of the MMA.
Yeah.
Guys love her because of her body more than her
talent.
Than her talent. Ronda at least was a little talented. She was a champion. Paige Van Zandt, no.
Never a talent. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Besides throwing her at championships, which we'll be talking about here in a moment.
Jade.
I'm trying to think of anybody else that. They could.
Why not
put her work with Nyla Rose? They could.
They could also put her right in against the lady that's wrestling Jade Cargill in a minute.
Yeah.
I know her name, but
I will talk about it here.
But her name's not popping up.
No. I will say it right
Tay
now.
Conti.
Yeah.
So Tay Conti, because I doubt Tay Conti's winning, and then they're both judo, black belts, all that kind of stuff. And so that would be a fun little MMA style of match.
Right.
Or Thunder
And the fact
Rosa.
that Tay Conti has specified this in her repertoire quite a bit lately. She's been talking about it.
She has a blue belt.
Kind of stuff and everything like that. So that's a good possibility. All right, so we're gonna go through with the rest of the matches on the card. You guys, hopefully, you're still with us.
Who would you like to see Paige Van Zandt feud with first? Leave that in your comments.
There you go.
There you go.
In the chats. Okay, so the rest of the matches, there's 4 left on the card, and they are all for championships, okay? The first one we're going to talk about is the women's one. It's the Jade Cargill versus Tay Conti TBS Championship. I I can just go first on this. I want and I predict Jade Cargill will continue to be the champion.
Also, going with Jade, I did not know that you would want her to. I thought you'd go with Tay Conti in that one.
I like Tay Conti and stuff like that, but with her being with Sammy Guevara, I don't want her anywhere near a championship. I fucking do not want her near a championship. I seriously think that
Homewrecker!
Their crap that they have going on is disgusting and all that stuff. They're both homewreckers. I mean, he's just as much to blame as she is in the whole situation, if you want to call it that way.
I don't care what they do in their personal
any of their
time.
breaking up fiancé stuff. But I really seriously do not want her having a championship because I do not want them to be some creepy, disgusting couple
like making
Britt
out with the
Baker
TV titles.
And feminine physique Adam Cole have been doing. It grosses
We
me
haven't seen
out.
that for a couple weeks.
And I think it grosses me out more because they are together in real life. And it's just more disgusting to me that they're bringing their personal life to work.
All right.
But
so
that's
we are both going with
own.
Jade. The storyline here is there's not much other than Tay Conti's just next in line.
Yeah,
And
she
did kick her and knock Jade down on Rampage on Friday.
Ooh.
Anna Jay kind of distracted Jade and said, "What day is it?" Because they had a little agreement that she couldn't touch her until 48 hours before the fight. And then Anna's like, "Hey, what day is it?" You know, and then her manager or whatever's like, "It's Friday. It's Rampage." She main eventing that show too, or headlining that show too, whatever it was. And and then bam, she gets kicked.
Damn.
And then Jade,
bitch.
Tay Conti was like standing over her, and she doesn't speak very good English, and that's fine. She stands over her and basically says, "You're going to be the ex-champion or whatever." That's it. So there's not a lot of build-up other than just Jade kicking everybody's ass.
Right. Which is how champions should do, right? She's anybody and everybody come to the show. That's not really a lot to talk about on that one. So you guys let us know in the chat comments who you guys got. Keep track of your predictions so that when the show happens, you guys can follow along with who the winners are.
And we're going to be chatting in here also. So that's why we're going to keep this going for just a second, just so you guys can chat about this match. Because we got to spend a little bit of time on it so they can chat. If not, we're going to be on the next match and people are still going to be talking about this one.
They can't. It's done. You guys don't get a chance. You can't talk about it anymore. You're cut off. Cut off.
Next one. Just put list. Jade or Tay. Is that her name, Tay?
Ty.
Oh, Ty. I'm like, Tay.
Ty. It's like Ty.
Yeah, Tay Conti. It is. It's Tay Conti.
It's hard because every time I hear it, I'm like, is that right? Did I say it right? I always forget how you say your name.
Yeah, Ty. You have a friend named Ty, so
yeah. All right, so I guess we'll move on. I'm sure give you guys enough time to figure that out. All right, the next championship match we're going to talk about is the Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks versus reDRagon.
Right.
This is, of course, for the AEW Tag Team Championship belts. The Jurassic Express right now are the champions of this. And, I don't like this match at all.
Right. Then you got the Young Bucks, who were AEW designers. They built the company.
True, and they have been tag team champions, and they were tag team champions for too long.
I would never say that because they're one of my favorite tag teams. But I do get it. They're antagonists. They're heels.
There's
something more going on here, though, right? The reDRagon, these are the NXT guys that couldn't make it to the main roster on WWE TV. But they're in a new company now. We're going to see what they can do in this new company. But they obviously have an underlying hatred, which is putting Cole in an awkward position, Adam Cole.
Right.
Because he's trying to play peacemaker, and without Kenny Omega around, things are falling apart because he can't do it all by himself. Plus, he's new. Obviously he knows these guys, so it's not new to the wrestling, but it's new to AEW television.
Right.
And so I see that as more of a thing, a storyline. That's the future of this. Now, it comes down to how much have we seen the Jurassic Express on TV since they become champions? I forgot. The other week I was watching, and I said, who's the tag team champions?
I did.
Basically meaning They forgot about them after they won the titles.
Yep.
They pulled some WWF shit.
Mm-hmm.
They put titles on a tag team and then forgot that they existed. But when the Bucks were champions, when the Lucha Bros were champions, when who else was champions? But the FTR, all those guys were on television representing. These guys just kind of show up at the end of other teams' matches. I just don't feel like they have the time and the space for the Jurassic Express anymore. Meaning, since the new storyline is going to be the Young Bucks versus the Red Dragons, it's either going to be the Red Dragons or the Young Bucks, in my opinion, for it to make sense. Right. Unless they want that to be beltless feuding, which it can carry a show beltless. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at. I cannot pick a winner out of this one. This one's tough because I want to just go with the Jurassic Express. But the Red Dragons make a lot of sense, especially for the hatred of the Bucks.
Right.
For that storyline to build. And maybe we'll get Kenny Omega back. If we get Kenny Omega back, we're going to have that 6-man feud. Mm-hmm. Then Cole will actually pick, Finn what is his name? O'Reilly and Fish. And go that direction. Make sure why I'm rambling here, guys, that you're leaving your comments about who you think's going to win this triple threat. Because that gives you a little bit of time. And why.
Or who you want.
We're going to be in here with you guys. We'll be in the chat also. But anyways.
So who are you going to go with?
This is so tough. I want to go with the Bucks.
Okay.
But I'm not.
Okay.
That's the thing. You can't go with who I want to go with.
All right.
I think I have to go with the Red Dragons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jurassic Express because I hate all of the rest of them.
Right. I don't pick my winners by where my heart lies.
Well, my reasoning behind picking the Jurassic Express is that I think that, for one, they were just placeholders anyways, but I don't think they were ready to take the titles off of Penta and Rey yet, the Lucha Bros. And I think it was just a fluke shit that happened when Rey hurt his elbow that it happened the way it did. I think that's why we don't see him as much on there. But I feel that there's other tag teams that they could start really pushing towards having a chance at being the tag team titles champions for a while, and then just have the titles off of the Young Bucks.
They have
and
so
new people
many
that they popped in for no reason other than to just make all you weirdos out there happy, I guess, that you love them so much. I can't stamp the rinse and repeat of the same dudes that I didn't want to see in NXT, and now I have to see them on another show. Makes me want to throw up every time. But, I mean, they're just like Santana Ortiz. I don't feel that if you put it on the Bucks or Red Dragon that you'll ever see them against them. I can see them against the Jurassic Express and them trying to work something there with Chris Jericho, and Santana Ortiz going up against them, then Jurassic Express going up against Santana Ortiz. I mean, having a feud, having some kind of storyline happening there, and then possibly moving the titles over to another.
Darius, Dante, they're there, they're ready. You've got the Varsity Blondes. There's so many tag teams that's stacked in that division.
There are, but which ones do you put higher up in the ranking of good? And I look at Santana Ortiz as
They should be there, but they're not. I mean, how they lost in that tag team battle royal thing, that's just like,
the way, and the only reason why they're doing that is because they are so have their heads up their assholes to push that goddamn piece of shit Dante Martin. And I know all of you people out there think that he's just the good goddamn greatest and the grass of green was under his feet and everything, but I don't believe in his beliefs of whatever it is he does, and I'm sickened by the fact he brings his personal shit into a sport, and he shouldn't. And he's not that good. Put him against another high flyer that we see even in AEW. Put him up against another high flyer. Dante Martin, he pauses a lot when he fucking does shit. He botches a lot sometimes. Other wrestlers have to fix his mistakes that he makes when he does shit. He's not careful when he does shit. I mean, if you put him against the Lucha Bros, he would fucking lose. And he should lose. But instead, everybody out there is like, oh, well, he's just so good. Look, he did a flip and he jumped off the top rope. You know how many of those other guys fucking do that shit? All of them. He's nothing special. And that's where I come at from it. And I think that he's the type of wrestler should never ever be on TV. Like, it would be better off if he just was just an obscure person that was just out there and nothing. And the only reason why is because, he's just so young and we want to push this young man. And it's like, you have all these other young men talent that you need to push too. But you're going to replace a really good one with this, mediocre dude for it. Anyways, but I'm going with the Jurassic Express just to hold the titles for a little bit longer for whatever reason and have the Young Bucks and the reDRagon people do their things somewhere else without titles involved. I just don't feel that it's right that they're going to bring these dude fucks in and all of a sudden they haven't wrestled hardly anybody and all of a sudden put titles on their dumbasses. Right. And the Young Bucks have had the titles, and they had the titles the very first time, basically. Well, I think FTR had it first. Whoever, but they had him forever. For fucking ever. And it's like, you're the fucking owners of the goddamn business. You guys need to stop writing this shit into it and let other people have it. Anyways, off my soapbox. Anyways, so you guys let us know in your chat comments who you think should win this and why. And if you think that that's going to happen about the Kenny Omega stuff, like, is he coming back? And when's he coming back? Is it going to happen?
Right.
All that good stuff. Right? All right. Should we move on now from my soapboxness?
Right. If you guys don't feel bad enough for liking Dante Martin. She doesn't like your mom either.
Has nothing to do with. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion, and I can have that opinion. You guys love him? Good goddamn, he needs some fans. Good for it. Go for it. Love him. Write him fan mail. Send him care packages. Maybe get him some new stuff. All right. Anyways, so we're going to head on to the next one, which is going to be one of the main championships, of course. This is the Dr. Britt Baker D.M.D. versus Thunder Rosa AEW Women's World Championship match. And, of course, right now, Dr. Britt Baker is your champion, which, Vindicator could totally be like, I'm never watching this one. He'll be like, I want Thunder Rosa to win.
Right.
Because I can't stand Dr. Britt Baker. All right. Anyways, who do you got on this one?
Yeah. I mean, Britt Baker's winning. I'm just trying to remember when she won the titles.
It's been a while.
Because if she's had it for long enough, because Thunder Rosa built Britt Baker, right? Like, they were both obscure. They wrestled each other. They had the greatest match in women's history.
That's what they say.
And Britt Baker lost. Mm-hmm. Fair and square. It was a tables match, I believe. And after it was over, Britt Baker got the huge push. And she was the loser of the match. So Thunder Rosa has a lot to prove, wants to prove it, but I still see Britt Baker moving ahead and winning that match.
She hasn't had it quite. She hasn't had it quite for a year yet. She won it on May 30th, 2021.
Right, so it's coming up.
So her year anniversary of being the winner of the women's title is coming up.
Right.
But like you said, are they really ready to move it off Dr. Britt Baker onto Thunder Rosa? Not that Thunder Rosa doesn't deserve to be a champion.
Right.
But
there's no story with her.
There isn't a story with it. It's unfortunate. Britt Baker does bring a lot of clout to the women's championship belt and stuff like that. She does make a good champion. It's not that she is shitty at it or that, or anything like that. I think her stable of ladies needs to implode a little bit more for her to lose it. Not to somebody in her stable, but just for
Jimmy
her
to
lose the
Rebel.
title at some point.
Reba.
They're going to have an implosion really happen, because they kind of did, and then Jamie Hayter came back into it like, okay, I'll do it, kind of stuff. So, So you're going to say that Dr. Britt is going to keep it.
It's going to be the best match of the night. or arguably the best match.
And I'm going to say that Dr. Britt Baker is going to retain the title also. It will be a really good match just because Thunder Rosa can hold her own, especially with Britt. And we have seen those matches with them before, and they do a really, really good job. I'm just hoping that, one, that, they don't have anybody coming into the matches to, Thunder Rosa has been kind of being friends with Mercedes Martinez, so we can possibly see her come out. We'll probably see Rebel or Reba or whatever her name is. And Jamie Hayter out there. And who knows if they'll kind of start getting involved. We've always seen that because Dr. Britt Baker is a bad guy. So, her being a heel, she does tend to take advantage of her minions or whatnot to help her out. There's not really, like you said, a lot to really talk about with this. And, at some point, they're going to have to find the right person or the right part of the story to take the title off of Britt and put it on somebody else. But I seriously think...
The only woman that's on that level right now is Jade.
Right.
That's it. There's no other woman that they've built. There's no women.
There isn't.
I thought Ruby Soho might be on her way, but they went the other way, and we haven't seen her.
Yeah, they kind of took her out of the playing field for a while, which is really weird. And the fact of it is like I said, I really think that Dr. Britt's stable needs to implode, and I think, and I hope to God that they use her relationship and her garbage shit with Cole as the pinnacle as to why they do it. Like, why the girls are like, fuck you, if you're putting your bro before
I would rather
your girls or whatever.
Keep those two.
Well, I want it to be a part. I don't want it to be, but they brought it into it. They made it a part of it.
They did, but they haven't done it in a couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, well, they'll probably continue to do it.
I would assume they
saw
saw
what it did. I hope they got such bad reviews and people were like, this is just sick, that they don't. But something's got to happen. And not saying that Jamie Hayter's in a bad spot where she is, but they've already had.
I don't feel like Jamie Hayter's the next champion of the world.
No. It has nothing to do with her becoming a champion.
That's how they usually do splits.
Yeah, not in AEW though.
So
they don't do those splits.
They can do a match and her and Rebel, but is Rebel going to become champion?
Nope, none of them
so
will.
Those don't make sense as she's champion. Now, if she loses the championship because of one of them, then wrestles them. That's to have those feuds, but without the title involved.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Right. But I'm saying they need to have like a weird implosion happen.
Right.
Britt loses the title.
We already seen it.
A little bit, yeah.
Jamie Hayter and her already went their separate ways for a minute.
Like and then they decided to put them back together, which was really strange to me. But anyways, you tell us who you think's winning this one, why, your reasoning, who you think they should push. Not based on their prettiness, but who do you think should be put up more into the area of becoming a women's world championship?
Who should be next?
Who should be next? Like, who do you think that they should build next? Like, we were just talking how it should, about Jade Cargill, and I really seriously think that she should be. She's up there enough that she should be the next champion. She should be the next champion. As in, she goes after the championship, wins the women's championship, and either drops the other belt or she, has a match and somebody else wins it from her because she's so ecstatic about being women's champion. That's down the road, though, guys. Britt's only had it. She hasn't quite had it for a year yet, but almost a year. Okay. And last but not least, this is the end. This is the last match on the card. Again, the card is subject to change, just like in WWE stuff. AEW can change the card. It could be due to somebody not making it, somebody having an injury, whatever may or may not have happened. But, it can always change.
Jon Moxley's skin got so thin that it finally broke open.
True. Exactly. That could happen. That definitely could happen. But the last match of the night, of course, is going to be the main event match. And we know it's going to be the main event match. And if it's not the main event match, it's really weird.
It's the main event.
But it is for the AEW World Championship match. And that's between Hangman Adam Page, the champion, versus Adam Cole.
The Battle of the Atoms.
Yes.
It's like the Cold War all over again.
Right? And, if you want me to go first, it'll be really simple on my side.
Right. Not a lot of build-up here either. I was thinking that this match would make more sense if the NXT Adam won, because then Omega can wrestle for the title again. Mm-hmm. But I think they can also do that feud without the title being involved. Hangman Page, or that Adam, the AEW Adam, he is he's only been champion since like November or something. Yeah. He hasn't had it quite long enough to see me, or for me to justify him losing it yet. But Adam Cole is very good, the NXT guy. Mm-hmm. So this is definitely a tough one. But he lost Orange Cassidy straight up. No handicap, nothing. I mean, it was kind of an Extremer Rules match, but if anything, that would have favored him.
True.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
and
for
so
cheating and doing.
If he's not going to be able to beat Orange Cassidy, no chance in hell. It's Vince McMahon. No chance in hell.
No chance in hell
that he's beaten the Hangman. So Adam Page walks away as the winner of this one.
Yeah, if you're going with Hangman.
You have to. Unless they are saying that Orange Cassidy is better than Hangman.
Right. Well, considering what kind of a match he had with Daniel Bryan, and he lasted as long as he did and dug deep into his core of being.
Intestinal fortitude.
Adam Cole is pretty much the same kind of wrestler as Daniel Bryan. I mean, or Bryan Danielson. It really just doesn't change much in that sense. I don't know how long this match is set up for. That I don't have on any of the matches, guys, is like the time limits and things like that. They don't always
It doesn't. The show's going to be 5 hours with the pre-show. It's a 4-hour pay-per-view. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to get over at midnight. We know that.
Well, we know that the whole pay-per-view. Right. I'm talking about each match and how long each match is sanctioned for.
Oh, I get what you're saying. And they're all going to have 20-minute time limits or longer.
Right.
Usually your championship matches have 60 minutes because they're going by the old WCW rules. WWF doesn't do that at all. You never hear it.
Right.
But in the old days, they used to tell you your time limits all the time.
Right.
And it's a 20 for a normal match. Sometimes you'll get a 30, but most title matches are 60. But they're not going 60.
Right. I think that that hopefully his Adam Cole's minions will be able to stay out of it and just let him have a good, clean match. And I am, of course, going with Hangman because I don't like the other one. So I don't like the other Adam.
Is it because of his hair?
It's because of his whole thing. Just him. just him and himself. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan.
So that's the whole pay-per-view.
That's it. That's all. That's.
But obviously, we're probably going to stick around and talk a little bit afterwards. So when the end screen comes on, we're still going to be in the chat chatting.
Yeah, we're not going to end the live part of this until probably a while. So if you guys want to stick around and chat with us after the fact, do, because we're going to be chatting in there. We just will not be interacting with you, but we will see you for the actual pay-per-view. We will be doing the live stream for the pay-per-view for AEW Revolution. All right, everybody. So let us know on the all of that. What you guys think?
Yeah, and what's going to be the best match of the night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great question. What do you think is going to be the best match of the night? And I'll go through the main ones real quick so we can kind of just repeat what we went over, right? So the ladder match of Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Ricky Starks versus Will Hobbs versus Wardlow versus Christian. Then you have the Andrade El Ídolo, Isiah Kassidy, and Matt Hardy versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. Then you'll have the Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley.
Could definitely get it. Could easily take the mark right there.
Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. The only stipulation on that one is, of course, if Eddie beats Chris Jericho, then Chris Jericho has to shake his hand, give him a little bit of respect that he has, even though he didn't go down the same path, he's still a good wrestler. And then the CM Punk versus MJF is a dog collar match. Then you have the championship matches. Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. Jurassic Express versus Young Bucks versus reDRagon. That last one with Jade is the TBS championship, of course.
Yes.
The Jurassic Express one is the AEW Tag Team Championships. Then we have the main World Championships, women's and men's. Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. versus Thunder Rosa. And then Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole. So those are the matches that are on the main card. There were the 3 buy-ins. Those are Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander. Penta Obscuro, Pac, and Eric Redbeard versus House of Black. And Hook versus QT Marshall.
Woo! 11, or no, is that 12?
That's 12. 12 total matches that are on the card. 3 are in the buy-in, which you should be able to watch for free on your TV somewhere, or YouTube. They probably more likely on the AEW YouTube channel would be most likely where you'll be able to see it. If you do have satellite or cable or something like that, it should be like an hour free on the actual pay-per-view channel. That you should be able to watch it. I don't think that they showed it on the actual TV station. I didn't see it.
No, it was not. It is not going to be on DBS or TNT.
It wasn't on anything there. That doesn't mean that can't change, guys, but we didn't see it on our side. So, yeah. So you guys...
we're going to be in here with you. The screen's going to go black. And we will, well, it's actually going to get loud for a second. But then it's going to go black. But we're going to be in the chat, chatting with you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching Wrestling Gab.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And enjoy the show. It starts at, 7 p.m. Eastern with the buy-in?
Yes, 7 p.m. Eastern with the buy-in, Sunday, March 6th. So when we'll put up our predictions, will be the same day. So today.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Wrestling Gab.